Good evening, everyone. The 573rd meeting of the Planning Board of the Village of Depew will come to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Member Soha.
Here.
Member Federowitz.
Here.
Member Matuzak.
Here.
Member Spencer.
Here.
And Chairman Maciejewski.
Here. Would everyone please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notification of emergency exits, please.
The emergency exits are located to my left and to the rear of the room. In the event of an alarm or an emergency, please move in an orderly fashion to the exits and evacuate the building.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Just some housekeeping. Some people may be the first time they're here. There is a section in the agenda for public concerns and comments. If there are any questions, please hold them until that point. We have two items on the agenda tonight. The first one is for the property located at 0 Brunswick Road. Could we have the legal notice, please?
Please take notice that the Village of Depew Planning Board will hold a meeting on Thursday, October 2nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. Pre-board meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York, to consider the application for submission by Greenman Peterson, Inc. on behalf of Legacy Lane Properties, LLC, for property located at 0 Brunswick Road, vacant parcel, SBL number 115.06-3-8.1, Depew, New York. The following matters to be reviewed. They are requesting the following: approval to rezone vacant parcel SBL number 115.06-8.1 from a C2 shopping center district to an R2 to prepare for construction of a single-family home. The current zoning is C2 shopping center district.
Thank you. Who's here representing the project? If you could come forward to the podium for our record, could you state your name and your relationship to the project, please?
Sure. My name is Jason Burford with Greenman Peterson, representing the applicant Legacy Lane Properties. As has been read through the legal notice, we're seeking the review and approval of a rezone for what's identified as 0 Brunswick, roughly a half-acre parcel, vacant parcel, currently zoned C2 commercial, but adjacent to R2 commercial and located in a residential neighborhood. And then it is obviously being rezoned with the intent of building single-family home.
Okay. So I guess that's to the point, and really nothing else that needs to be said at this point. Any questions from the board members?
No question.
Sam, legal?
It's just worth noting that this project was here once before. They received prior approval from this board. And I think that's where everyone's questions were answered.
Yes.
Nothing else from me?
Code enforcement, Don?
Nope, pretty cut and dry.
Okay. Engineering?
No comments.
Dave, fire?
No comments.
Public concerns and comments? Any public concerns and comments? With that, a motion would be in order to...
I, Member Soha, make a motion to make a recommendation to the village board to accept the rezone as submitted.
My second.
On a motion by Member Soha, seconded by Member Federowitz to make a recommendation to the village board to accept. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Soha.
Yes.
Member Federowitz.
Yes.
Member Matuzak.
Yes.
Member Spencer.
Yes.
Chairman Maciejewski.
Yes. 5 yes, the motion is carried. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, our second item on the agenda tonight is for the property located at 6061 Transit Road, unit number 6041. Can we have the legal notice, please?
Excuse me. Please take notice that the Village of Depew Planning Board will hold a meeting on Thursday, October 2nd, 2025, at 7 p.m. Pre-board meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York, to consider the application for submission by Sam Goba for property located at 6061 Transit Road, Unit 6041, Depew, New York. The following matters to be reviewed. He is requesting the following. Approval to operate a cannabis dispensary. The current zoning is C2 Shopping Center District.
Thank you. Who's ever here representing the project? For the record, state your name and your relationship to the project, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elise Bergio. I'm the cannabis lawyer for Empire Smoke Shop 7, which is the entity, and Sam Goba, who's the single member for the LLC. Just to provide a little context, so cannabis provisional licenses are a little different than what probably came before you when Herbal IQ came. At the moment, we have to tie a location to our license. So we're coming to you beforehand. We've submitted to the OCM, but it's obviously contingent upon making sure that we have local approval. Otherwise, you have to withdraw the location and then resubmit. So 6061 Transit Road is a few over from the previous Herbal IQ building. It's that old bank. Has capacity for a drive-through. Sam Goba has fulfilled all of his what we'll call application requirements. This building does meet the distance requirements for schools, for house of worship, and per the Depew code, essentially any of your regulations, it has met. And we've talked it over with your building inspector. We come before you today just to ask for that permit to move forward and open and answer any questions you may have on the building or structure and how we're going to provide security and anything else you need in order to meet the concerns over a cannabis retail dispensary.
Okay, so you did mention the drive-through.
Yes.
Right now, our ordinance does not allow that. Are you looking for something with that in the future?
Yes, we are, not necessarily at this moment, but are going to come before you again to ask for either a repeal of that portion of the law, given the new regulations per the state of New York. Obviously, when the code was drafted, you guys came in at a very early age in terms of when regulations were drafted for Depew in order to meet the demands of the first few dispensaries. Regulations didn't come out in its full capacity until September of last year, which was well after Herbal IQ came up. And so with that change in the regulations, it did allow for drive-through. So, we'd love to have a discussion about that after the approval process. We'd rather get open than have a debate on the drive-through. Would love to have either a conversation about whether a variance is necessary or if we can look to change the law given the new regulations from New York State.
Okay. A couple things on the building. The property itself is very well maintained as a whole. The plaza, the recent resealing and striping, restriping, I mean, everything looks good there. Just a couple things. Any plans to do anything with that signpost up front?
Sure. We actually have the landlord and the tenant here. Do you guys have any plans to do anything with the sign?
So the sign is part of that building, and you guys will have the right to do whatever you want. I mean, I found guidelines, but yeah, that sign is powered and ready for.
Yeah, and so per New York State, you are allowed, if in the event you're unable to see from street level the access to the door, you can have outside signage to make it more easier to spot.
Sorry, can we just have your name and address so we have more than just the landlord on the record?
It's Pat Brady.
I apologize.
Address of my home,
Oh, just business address is fine.
6061 Transit Road.
Thank you. I know who you are, but the record doesn't.
And I did notice that there is a dumpster there. Is that going to be a permanent dumpster?
The trash dumpster that's by the side of the building,
Yes.
it has been permanent. That can certainly be moved. We have other places for it. The current resident wanted it there because it's closer to his back door. I'm not thrilled that it's sitting there, to be honest with you. I'd rather have it over in that kind of grassy area, kind of tucked behind the building.
Yeah, because that would require an enclosure also, the dumpsters.
I'm not following what you mean.
Dumpster enclosure.
Dumpster enclosure.
When you put in a new business into a building, one of the regulations are that if it has a dumpster, it has to have a dumpster enclosure. They don't want it to be seen from the public right of way. So we'd have to discuss a location that's, meets the requirements, but that would be a requirement of the allowing that use.
For reference, cannabis is not going to be thrown out in that area. That's, yeah.
Incinerator?
Yeah, well, or people's mouths, but no, yes. It won't be thrown out in the public dumpster.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Where it's sitting right now is
Not good.
not good. No, you're 100% right
That's
there.
been an issue for a while. With me, to be honest with you.
Okay, we're going to open it to questions from the board.
Hours of operation,
It's going to meet your code 10 to 10 or something less than that.
7 days?
Yes, for now, but that might change. A lot of it will depend upon, demand, and what we've applied for with the state has met the Depew code, but typically you shorten those hours on Sunday a lot, just based off foot traffic or, car traffic of that.
Any other questions for the board? Legal, Sam?
Nothing from me. I brought up our local law in the pre-board meeting, and through my review and discussion with the building department, it appears all the boxes were checked and that the applicant was very aware of that, knew what they were doing. I understand this distinction between a provisional license. We actually dealt with that with the first one where we had to send out, I think I had to write a letter confirming that they had space and were on our board application to get their request for a license advanced with New York State. So that's a requirement we've heard before, not too unusual. I don't really have any questions. I just wanted to note on the record the extent of our review.
I will say you guys are actually ahead of more municipalities on actually drafting a cannabis code, which I go before municipalities 5 times a month, and very rarely do we actually have code to work with. So, good job, Sam.
Code enforcement, Dan?
The only stipulation would be the dumpster corral, and then obviously, there are some we did a fire inspection. There's a few things that has to be buttoned up on that end of it, but that could be done during the actual permitting process for the occupancy.
Great.
Engineering, Joe?
I have no questions?
Fire, chief?
No questions.
Hey, is there any public concerns and comments? Any could you come up to the podium, please? State your name and your address for the record.
Anna Berger is my name. The address is 57 Arlington Place. And I just have a concern, when Herbal was there, the traffic was bad, all the hijinks that they were doing, I don't know, the cycles, the cars, the traffic. Trying to turn from transit to entry was quite dangerous sometimes, so these are my concerns.
Okay. And Don, I believe there was an issue with those car shows, and
So,
they did
yeah.
stop them.
Yeah, so that was a conversation that we had with the previous owner and of Herbal IQ, and they obviously had to stop doing those or cut them back severely, but now he's no longer there. I don't know if you're going to have anything like that there, but you would have to come in front of us, the board and the police chief, to discuss any type of events that you would have there. There would have to be traffic control and things like that.
So this site's a little bit different than Herbal IQ, just because it's on the corner. You can kind of cut off into that side street to get out, as opposed to the plaza, which is
Well, that's what she's talking about, Arlington, and
Either
okay.
side of the plaza has
has those.
Ingress.
Okay, yeah.
I think honestly though, to answer your question, it was more the car shows and things like that caused the issues, which we are aware of, which we are the ones that give the actual permission for them to do that, and it would have to be well regulated and accepted before we would allow that to happen again.
No intention to do any car shows.
Okay?
Or other events, big events.
Well, every business has events, but we'll try to keep it so that, it's not as bad for the residents.
That would be good.
Thank you.
Any other public concerns and comments? Paul, you know the drill.
Paul Sprata, 58 Argus Drive. Is there going to be any smoking allowed there?
This is not an on-site consumption lounge, so there's no consumption of any kind of marijuana on property.
It's
Paul,
just,
if that makes you feel better, our local law prohibits that.
okay. My concern is also how many of them, I mean, they're popping up like Tim Hortons. I mentioned this before at other meetings. Why is there such a need for so many?
Sure. So I can give a little context to that. The cannabis application window had two separate periods. They had a November period, which was tied to real estate, and they had a December period, which had no real estate. Just in the November application alone, there was over 2,500 submissions for retail licenses. The governor's office had mandated to the Office of Cannabis Management that every single one of those applications gets reviewed. And so once you get reviewed, you have the ability to have an application. So we have close to over 20, I would say probably 2,000 applications geared up to be submitted. Now, the state has very, very strict regulations of where you can go. So the zoning on schools and schools are very strict, that most people are finding it very difficult to find locations. But when you see some pop-ups, it's not necessarily a legal store. So there's a lot of stores out there that aren't New York State licensed. The ones that might be closer to a school, ones that might be closer to a daycare. Currently in Depew, it's really just Herbal IQ and now this new group. So really in your area, there's only two. But if you're seeing more, it's because there's an influx of what we call illicit stores that aren't licensed by New York.
Like smoke shops you're talking
Smoke shops, or they might even say that they're legal cannabis and they're not. Hemp stores try to sell cannabis every once in a while, so although it might seem like there's definitely stores open in our area. Won't deny that, but it's in Buffalo we probably have about 45 to 48.
So is that in the county, in the region you're saying?
Yeah, like I would
In
say
our
like
Western New York region?
Yeah, probably from Hamburg up to North Tonawanda, I would say is about the amount that we're dealing with right now. But there's a lot in the pipeline of people still trying to get locations that are, it's not really an
No.
easy process.
Paul, remember, there's a big difference between New York State licensed cannabis dispensaries like Herbal IQ and this group, and the smoke shops, which we're doing our best to regulate, and we built into our local law. They were all supposed to have special use permits, and this board of zoning denied one a couple months ago.
yes.
Yeah.
This board denied one a couple months ago, so.
Well, just for general information, between Genesee and Walden on transit, if they approve your permit, that will be the fourth
I know.
cannabis or smoke shop, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And if this is state regulated, who enforces it? Who enforces the regulations, the local police or the state police?
It's tied. So the Office of Cannabis Management has an enforcement team that they go locally with the local enforcement agency if they're going to bust up a store, who are operating outside of parameters of the state law.
And this is recreational cannabis, is that correct?
This is recreational cannabis.
Not medicinal?
No, but medicinal can have adult use capabilities as well. So they're allowed to sell both adult use and medicinal into the stores.
Okay. What is your source of product?
Sure, so you're only allowed to sell New York State cultivators, so you can't get it from outside states. It has to be what we'll call track and trace. Every single time you put a plant in the ground, it gets tagged, and then it goes, the tag number is all the way to the sale. So you know exactly where it was grown and how it was grown and what producer did it.
Okay. Will you have anything to do with vaping?
Vape products may be sold. Those are extracted oil that people, they do have the ability to purchase that. I don't know if that's on their product list yet, but that is one product that they're allowed to sell.
Well, what studies that I've read, vaping is worse than cannabis.
Trust me, you don't
I
want
mean,
to.
it's chemical based.
Oh, yeah. It's done through butane. We like to look at cannabis like alcohol. We're not hoping anybody really is getting promoted to do it, but have access to it.
But for alcohol, there's tests. I mean, the police department knows that, you know, if you have a certain percentage, you can get arrested for it.
Sure.
But there's nothing for cannabis or vaping, is there?
Actually, I just did a training on this. There's drug recognition experts. and Very strict metrics and trainings that they have to go through. And there's things they can identify that determine whether or not someone has ingested cannabis.
Okay, and let's say someone is under the influence of either alcohol or vaping or cannabis. What's the next step?
They get
It's
charged
like driving
with
while intoxicated.
there's two different subsections of the law. One is a combination of alcohol and drugs, and one is just drugs. It's a misdemeanor. It's very serious. You lose your license.
Okay. My concern also is traffic. When that herbal place was in there, boy, there was a lot of traffic.
Sure.
I don't live too far from the corner there, and they would cut through, go up Argus and cut through Krieger. There's a lot of little kids there. That's a neighborhood. I've been there for over 50 years.
Sure. We're gonna try to mitigate that as best as possible, but
How?
I think it's gonna be a case-by-case basis. If we're seeing that there's a problem, you know, we have a very good relationship with the landlord. We're gonna try to do the best we can with the property.
Yeah, I mean, you can't put signals on transit anymore because there's one at French, and how close do you put signals? And then further up by Hillview, the school, there was a signal put up because of all the housing and businesses that went up there. So you can't get signals too close together for traffic control.
I think my thought is this might be a little different, this particular place, because Herbal IQ, first of all, was either the first or the second one in the whole area. And I think that drew a lot of cars in.
Yes.
Now, again, as you know, Genesee and Transit, obviously the Herbal IQ is right over
Yep.
across from the pool place there.
Yep.
I think because there's more of them now, I think you're less likely to see that convergence of vehicles, because I live over there too, and I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. As well, this is a smaller operation, smaller footprint.
Yeah.
And I think for that reason, you might have a little less traffic as well. This is just my thought. I don't know this to be factual, but I'm thinking that maybe because there are so many of these places now, you're not going to get people coming from Kenmore or wherever because they've got them on their corners
They're
too.
close to their
Yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah. It's just my thought. I don't know it to be factual, but that's.
Well, it was also a live and learn experience for the village. We saw what happened. We took into account all the complaints that were coming in with the car shows and the motorcycles and all that stuff. And we're going to be regulating that more going forward.
My point is, I'd rather be proactive than reactive. I don't want to see any fatalities, anybody getting hurt because of traffic or the condition of drivers of these vehicles.
Paul, I think too, like you said, you lived there 50 years. Same thing, I'm right near Steve, and I walk past
Yeah.
your house every day, 7
Yeah, I
days a
know.
week. I think you gotta agree that most of that traffic that comes down French and shoots up Krieger to Argus is doing that to avoid the light. They're not going to
They
that,
avoid the light, right?
they're not going to that plaza.
The
So,
light pattern
Yep.
has been changed. It's a short green light
Yep.
across French and a long one on Transit. And it didn't used to be that way, but it's been changed.
so that, most of that traffic is not going into that plaza. They're just using it as a shortcut.
Yeah. And I just want to know, why is this marijuana smoking, I mean, it's legal, but why is it so popular now?
You know, it's the new frontier, I think, of recreation. Not that
Well-
people have been doing it for quite a long time, I think, but now that it's out in the open, you know, it's definitely been a more embraced culture than we've seen, obviously, in the past. I'll tell you, though, most typical stores, about 100 customers a day, and that's over the course of the hours of operation. So the traffic shouldn't be too out of control for that area, and if there's no big events, you know.
And bringing up smoking again, I've been volunteering at the UB Center for the Arts on the North Campus since they opened 30 years ago. And that whole campus, not just a few buildings, but the whole campus is a smoke-free campus.
Yeah.
And now why has this smoking become so popular and where do people do it?
Yeah, so they're not allowed to smoke on campus. You
Right.
have to have the same rules as you would cigarettes, so if it was smoke-free there, it's the same. Yeah, I know, it's hard to give you an explanation of why it got so popular. It's just that I think the times are changing,
Wow.
people are hearing more.
Unfortunately, I think everybody was, I hate to say this, but a lot of people were in the closet with it, and now that the light has been flipped on,
And I'm sure it must be very profitable, otherwise these places wouldn't be opening up because I don't see too many closing.
You know, it's that new commodity. I think everyone's trying to put their hat into it.
Well, that's just my view. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Paul.
thank you.
Thank you.
I think on the plus side too, that business will help the other businesses in that plaza too.
Yeah.
There's some nice businesses there. The gyro place is doing well and, I think it'll be a plus. So.
Yeah, I think most of the traffic issues really did stem from the car shows, right?
Yeah, it's slowed down since Herbalife left. We haven't really had any complaints, so.
Yeah.
And again, if you were to do an event, you have to run it by the village, and you'd have to get permission. It would have to be regulated.
Okay, is there any other public concerns and comments? Okay, with that, a motion would be in order.
Can I make one more comment, please?
Sure.
With the conversation we've had here, one of the things I think that's real important, especially to the homeowners there, is, as we talked about, that plaza's been cleaned up nice, the parking lot's been redone and striped and what have you. We really would like to see a nice, clean, professional-looking business there, and I think the neighbors would like that as well. I'm not saying you're not going to do that. I'm just saying just keep that in mind as you go forward. A place that's appealing, visually to the neighbors, I think is a good thing. And I've been in that area my entire life, and that plaza's come a long way. So just keep that in mind as you do what you do. We're not telling you have to do this or that, but keep in mind the outside of it, how it looks, and how the neighbors would feel about how it looks. And I think that would be a good thing.
We intend to give it a facelift.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Member Saw just mentioned, because that whole area of Transit Road over the last 10 years has really cleaned up. I mean, a lot of the businesses that were kind of an eyesore have either moved on or cleaned up their act over there. And, from that French Road going north, it's pretty cleaned up now.
You're welcome.
Bless you.
Why not Rite Aid? It's got a drive-through.
Huge spot.
Big place.
Okay, with that, a motion would be in order.
I, Member Matuzak, make a motion to make a recommendation to the village board to accept the site plans as submitted with the following stipulations: that the dumpster be contained in an enclosure or corral, which is, have to be moved to a site that building code enforcement is agreeable upon.
Second?
On a motion by Member Matuzak, seconded by Member Spencer, to make a recommendation to the village board to accept the site plan as submitted. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Soha?
Yes.
Aren't we approving a special use permit on the site plan?
Yes, special use permit.
So just a correction to the motion.
Okay, do you want me to?
Good call.
You can just constructively amend.
Yeah.
Same conditions and it's.
The same conditions, and it's for a special.
For special use permit.
Special use permit.
Correct. John, you're good with that?
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Member Soha?
Yes.
Member Federowitz?
Yes.
Member Matuzak?
Yes.
Member Spencer?
Yes.
Chairman Maciejewski?
Yes. 5 yes, motion is carried. Good luck and thank you.
Thank you.
With that, a motion would be in order to adjourn the meeting.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion by Member Federowicz,
Lit Road.
seconded by Member Spencer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Meeting is adjourned at 7:29 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Paul,
I know.
Paul, just so you know too,